You know, I look at a guy like Calvin Ridley and I say to myself, we've never seen somebody come back to form after a massive amount of time that this player has taken off. It's not an injury. We haven't seen it since Michael Vick, Ricky Williams. But we keep hearing great things about Calvin Ridley. And he's got the law dog, Trevor Lawrence, throwing him the football. We've got to have a serious conversation about Calvin Ridley's potential likelihood of becoming a top 10 wide receiver in 2023. I get excited one moment, and admittedly, I start going, okay, pump the brakes, but there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unpack here. We've got all kinds of news. Aaron Rodgers injured, but looks like he's going to be okay. Not a big deal. I'll ruin that up front so you don't have to worry during the intro. File on in, hit the thumb up button. Let's go.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
We've got quite a bit of news to go over relating to all the players on screen. Some of them you can read, some of them you can't. They're too small, but I'll pop them on screen. We'll answer phone calls. We'll do all the usual stuff. File on in, hit that thumb up button on your way in the door. This is the Fantasy Football Show live Monday through Friday, every single Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we go live. This channel goes live whenever news breaks. This channel goes live, for 100,000 different reasons. But our schedule is 7 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, every day. Live whenever news breaks. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday is a draft marathon. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight. Panic Chamber Tuesdays, daily uploads. That means right here, today's Tuesday. That means you're getting a little Panic Chamber Tuesday night live stream. So get ready for that. Let's get right to Aaron Rodgers to get that out of the way in case anybody's wondering. Aaron Rodgers looked like he had an ankle injury. This was the first report, suffered an ankle injury during OTAs. And then this report came out just a little while ago. It says that Rodgers suffered a strained calf at OTAs. So he'll be out. Expect a couple practices, maybe a couple days, and then we'll hear more. But not a big deal. Not hearing anything to be concerned about whatsoever. Just they're going to play it, play cautious about it. This right here, let's get to Calvin Ridley. Let's do it now. Let's get this not out of the way because it's a great topic, but get this in the forefront of the show here. Sports Illustrated, Shipley writes, Calvin Ridley, quote, simply moves differently than any other wide receiver on the field, end quote. And that's saying something because this wide receiver room is very talented, very underrated, even by yours truly. I underrated Christian Kirk all year long. Law Dog just kept feeding him. Zay Jones was a favorite of the show. We love Zay Jones. He looked fantastic last year. Evan Ingram catches the football amazingly. This is a talented wide receiver room. And so when you hear things like this from a wide receiver that's taken off as much time as Ridley's taken off, it gets you excited. It gets you really excited. And I'm starting to buy into more and more the idea that maybe this is an anomaly type player again. We've seen it happen before. Mike Vick, Ricky Williams. We haven't really seen a wide receiver step out of the league for a year, then get suspended and essentially be out of the league for 2 years. But this guy was on a course to become maybe even some people's number one wide receiver. He really had the ability to become fantasy football's number one wide receiver. He was definitely on a course to be everybody's top 5. He was jumping into that territory. Then he had some issues and stepped away from the game for mental health reasons, to take care of himself. We weren't sure where that was going to go. And then all of a sudden, the betting on sports, and that derailed him another year. And now here Calvin Ridley is sitting in front of the law dog, catching footballs from Trevor Lawrence, a guy that could be number 1, number 2, number 3 in the entire National Football League in touchdown passes in 2023. Let me make something abundantly clear. I may rank Trevor Lawrence 6 on my QB rankings because Fields is above him. And of course, Burrow and Mahomes and Josh Allen and Hurts are all above him. Those are my top 5 quarterbacks, Fields being included with Joe Burrow and the guys. Lamar, Law Dog, Aaron Rodgers, there are a lot of players you could throw out for that number 6 overall spot. For me, it's not even close as Trevor Lawrence, the Law Dog. We need a video or animation or scene for Trevor Lawrence because it's a long time coming. Some sort of law dog. The law's here, laying down the law. This guy could be 1, 2, or 3. Let's call it 1, 2, or 3 overall in the National Football League in touchdown throws, easily. Now, will it Hurts, Mahomes run for more and Fields and rank above him? It's obviously possible, right? But this is the kind of guy that could go out and throw a 4 touchdown game multiple games in a row. If there's anybody that's gonna lead the league in 4 touchdown and beyond contests, it's this guy, Trevor Lawrence. He's that guy. He's that guy that could throw a 4 or 5 touchdown game, then go out there and throw another 4 or 5 touchdown game. He feels like he's going to be oozing at the seams in terms of touchdown production in 2023, and I'm excited about it. And someone's going to benefit greatly. Not that a mix of everybody won't benefit. Not that Kirk and Zay and Ingram and Ridley can't all eat into each other's workload. They certainly can. But I think that if anybody's going to benefit, it's going to be Ridley, who we saw at one point becoming a top 5 wide receiver. It is just such a tough thing to do, but who cares? Look, I'm the king of who cares what history says if your gut instinct tells you this is going to happen. Who cares what is going on in terms of this or that, and everybody says the odds of this are unlikely, or hey, his breakout year as a rookie, he's too old. He can't do it. Like, I'm the person that's going to push back against that kind of thing more than anybody. So why not here? Why not take a stand and say, look, I don't know where I'm going to draft him yet. I'm not moving him into the 3rd round or anything crazy, but it's time to say, you know what? Calvin Ridley's skill set is quite amazing. With a broken foot, he did what he did in this final year and had a phenomenal year. This guy's got the potential. Let's pull up his game log and look at his stats from the previous seasons before he took his leave of absence. But Ridley, let's project some stats for Ridley in 2023, and let's take a gander at the projection and see if we feel like this is material that could make him a top 6 to 10 wide receiver, because I think it's certainly in the cards for Calvin Ridley at this point. Do I rank him in my top 5? No, I don't. I think there's too many wide receivers I absolutely love more. But could he be top 10? Could he be top 12? Might he be 8 to 12? He certainly could get into that range. Here is his game log. So he hasn't played since 2021, where he played 5 games. 2020 is really our last year we can really look at. But if you look at his touchdown production, 10, 7, 9. Remember, he's playing in Atlanta. Remember, he's playing in a place where Julio Jones couldn't get into a 10 touchdown regular conversation. Okay, so is that touchdown total his fault? Not seeing 14, 13, 18. Is that his fault, or is that an Atlanta Falcon trend? And that, you could say, hey, that's bad for London and Pitt, Smitty. It could be, or it could be that's old regime, this is new regime. So I wouldn't say that that's just an infection that every wide receiver going forward is going to have. But during this time frame, during this time period, during this Atlanta Falcons regime, Julio, Ridley, no wide receivers were grabbing 12, 13, 14, touchdowns. Even Julio Jones couldn't get into that conversation. He couldn't. So you got to ask yourself, maybe this isn't his fault. Maybe these touchdown totals, like he's going to blow that out of the water. He might have 11 or 12 or 13 touchdowns in 2023 and have his highest touchdown season ever, because the law dog is just saying, catch a football, please. Catch a football. Here you go. Let's play catch. Love Star says Ridley will be lucky to go for 1,000 yards in this season. Why though? Why? Explain your reasoning behind that. Just because he's been out of the game so long, I'll respect that take. I just want to know what you're thinking. Why? Okay, so you had 64 receptions in 2018, 63 receptions in 2019, and then 90 receptions for 1374 and 9 touchdowns. I believe he had a broken foot during that season too. Came in, and then obviously the rest we know. He hasn't really played. So 2021 essentially hasn't really played. 2021, 2022. So, it's coming into 2023. It's not like he took 2.5 years off. I'm starting to really get behind this situation. I'm starting to really feel like Ridley has a strong shot at a like JM Heat said, 1,200 yards. I think more touchdowns than JM Heat says, 8 TDs. I'm gonna say 1,211, and that puts him in the top 10, or it puts him around the top 10. Maybe he's 12, maybe he's 11, maybe he's 9. But I think a safe projection. Let's say a safe projection is 9. I'll say a safe projection is 9. My expectation level is going to be 11 or 12. But Ridley, let's call it 90 receptions, 1,200 yards. Remember, there's an extra game now, that he didn't get to play. Like, it's not that hard to catch 1,200 yards for a wide receiver. 1,200 yards for a wide receiver divided by 17 is now 70.5. He can get 70.5 receiving yards per game. We'll call this 9 to 11 TDs. This feels like the very safe range and projection for Calvin Ridley in 2023. And that deserves and commands respect. Now, do I draft him as my 4th drafted player in round 4? I don't even know if I can do that yet. This is me coming to terms with, you know what? I'm letting go of the past and saying this guy has the potential to be an anomaly. And sometimes it takes an entire, off season to come to terms with something like this where the odds are against him. We've never seen it happen before for a wide receiver. We've seen Ricky Williams come back after about a 2-year hiatus. We've seen Michael Vick come back after a long hiatus. But now we're seeing Calvin Ridley. And remember, he played 2021 a little bit and then stepped away. And then he was going to come back, and then he got suspended. So really it hasn't fully been 2 years, and he has the law dog. He has the law dog throwing him the football. I'm a little excited. The phone lines aren't quite open yet, but I always answer if there's a one-off question. So ask away, Steven Steele, and then I'm going to bounce you back off while I finish the news, and then you can dial back in right after. What's your question, pal? Hello?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Steven, real quickly, what you got? And then I'm going to bounce you off because I'm not answering calls yet, but I wanted to talk to you real quick. You're live on the show. Ask me something fast. I'm going to bounce you off, and you can jump back on. You can call back in.
Oh, that's all right. I'll be back in a little bit.
Well, just
take your time.
Just ask your question. Steven, you already interrupted. Just ask your question. It's fine, pal. This is like walking in to wake up dad or mom, and then you wake them up, and then you don't ask them the question. What you got, Steven?
All right, well,
hit me with
who's your favorite sports hero and why?
Calvin Ridley. We're on the topic of Calvin Ridley. He's my favorite. Who's my favorite sports hero? My favorite player of all time is Kurt Warner. His story, his attitude, his talent, his the dog in him. Like, Kurt Warner is the epitome of everything that is good about.
He was a grocery store clerk.
Exactly.
The ultimate rags to riches story.
The biggest in the history of probably anything.
Hey, Smitty, would you mind if I could tell you mine just real quick?
Steven, you said real quick. It sounds like an hour and a half story. You got 30 seconds, and then you can call back.
In 1975, 1976, they had a Coca-Cola ad with Mean Joe Green in it. And I was probably 3 or 4 years old. I was
Steve.
just starting to understand. My father was playing semi-pro ball at the time, but I didn't understand the game of football. But when I saw that commercial, it was like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? What is this football? That's what set me on my path years and years ago. I've been watching football since you was an itch in your daddy's. You know what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cute story, Steven. Okay, hey, Steven, call back after I get to the news. Appreciate you. Oh, God. You know, I love Steven to death. He knows that. But sometimes he thinks he's that guy that thinks his story is going to be amazing. And you're like, what in the was that? Okay, back to business. Back to business. Where's my music? Where's my music? Okay. Is my music too loud? Let's lower that a touch. Okay, so Calvin Ridley got that out of the way. Monster, not a monster, paper tiger, figment of your imagination. You be the judge, and you can call in very shortly and tell me what you think, because I would love to hear your perspective on Mr. Calvin Ridley 2023. So get ready. Pal Derby going nuts. Is Pal Derby dropping gifted memberships in the chat? Let me get in here and take a look. Pal Derby dropping 20 gifted memberships in the live chat. Pal Derby becoming an absolute legend. Pal Derby is him. Pal Derby, I'm putting him in the corner here. He's a piece of news right now. Hold on, let's hit the news.
From the fantasyfootballshow.com news desk.
Breaking news, Pal Derby is dropping fire on the Fantasy Football Show, your local favorite fantasy football show, sports show. Pal Derby dropping 20 gifted memberships. Just what a monster. What a monster. Pal, appreciate you, pal. You are a pal of the show. Okay, so Calvin Ridley, I'm going to wait for people to call in on that one, okay? This piece of news here, Breece Hall, ACL not participating in OTAs, not a surprise. No one's concerned. In fact, let me read the quote here from Salah, who said, Hall looks fantastic, and ESPN reported second year back should be back for week 1 in 2023. Whether Hall gets a full workload early in the season is another question entirely. Fantasy managers should look. We've already done a lot of speculation on this. We're hearing he's fully ahead of schedule. He looks fantastic. And I think to assume anything other than that is going to be a detriment to your fantasy football roster construction and building and team building and best ball drafting, because there are players that can come back year one from an ACL tear. A lot of unaware Ungers will call in, leave comments, talk about ACLs like they know anything about them just because they've seen a player or two have an ACL injury. There's so much more that goes into an ACL tear. People don't even know. Don't listen to somebody that can't explain the injury. Don't listen to somebody that can't tell you exactly what's happening inside the knee, and that you see on the back of this, in the middle of the knee are the ACL and PCL. When you replace one of those, there's a lot of trauma that happens to the knee. Much of your recovery and speedy recovery has to do with, do you have any other, injuries like Javonte did, where he had the LCL tear as well as the ACL tear? Because Javonte's he's recovering from two different things. He could have swelling from two different places. He could have an issue with the LCL coming back to hamper his knee and create no trust, so that when he goes to plant, he's worried about two different feelings in his knee. He's holding back and he tears a hamstring. There's a lot of reasons why you would be concerned about a running back with an ACL tear and why you wouldn't be concerned as much coming back. And it all has to do with readiness. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how many, it doesn't even matter if he had two injuries or one. When compared to readiness, readiness is the true test. Readiness means everything. If you're ready, if you go out like like Saquon Barkley and you're barely in pads and you're cutting for the first time before week 1, that was writing on the wall. We knew on the channel. We said stay away. There's no way Barkley's going to have a successful first year back because he wasn't ready. His readiness wasn't there. Breece Hall's readiness appears to be way ahead of schedule. Javante's does not. That is the difference and why you would believe in one over the other. So more on that. $2 hauler from Tanner who says Pal Derby should get a Mars Man card. Mad respect. Pal Derby is the man. I love Pal Derby. Let's see here. That could open up some opportunities. Okay, so we got rid of the Breece Hall. The Breece Hall stuff, we'll put this over in the corner. If anybody has any questions about that, we'll rehash that. This is a little bit of a concern because this guy is kind of causing problems in Buffalo, has been yelling at people, yelling at his quarterback, not really wanting to be in Buffalo anymore. He's pulling the old, the Devontae Adams card, if you will, saying, hey, maybe I could go elsewhere. I make this city. I make this team. I made Josh Allen. That's his attitude. And look where Devontae Adams is now. Devontae Adams is sitting in a pile of crap that he made himself. He made his own bed, his own pile of crap, and now he doesn't have his quarterback. He thought he was going to have his quarterback, his buddy, his best friend for a while. They sent Derek Carr packing. And Diggs has got this on his mind that he could go somewhere and thrive, and maybe he could, but these wide receivers, these NFL players, they don't see things from the high-level perspective we do. They sometimes think a situation's better than it is and a situation's worse than it really is. And I don't even know if he picked the right location. The way he makes decisions sometimes, I love Stephon Diggs. I love him. But him not attending OTAs isn't a big deal, but it's just more of this kid is definitely, upset. He's not excited about things right now, and he seems to have a little bit of an attitude and chip on his shoulder that doesn't feel like it's something that's going to necessarily lead to positive things, but I don't know that it'll necessarily lead to negative things. But I do really like him in 2023, but I have my concerns about his long-term value. He wants out, his attitude, he's getting older. So Dynasty, there's a whole different conversation to have. But am I still drafting him at the 10, 11, 12, 13? Of course I am. But, we're concerned there. Chargers, hey, what did your boy tell you? What did your boy tell you yesterday? Austin Eckler will play for the Chargers in 2023 after the team added a $1.75 million incentive package to his contract. What did I tell you yesterday? What did I tell you yesterday on the news desk here?
From the fantasyfootballshow.com news desk.
What did I tell you that they would do, that they should do, that he should accept? Now that he knows he's not getting a new contract, he's 28 years old. What did I tell you? That they were going to give him some sort of just gifted bonus. Now he's got to earn it. I think they were going to offer it just plain and simple earlier. But now they're going to say, hey, here's 1.75 if you rush for 8,000 touchdowns. So he should have took what they offered him before. I don't know if it was the exact same thing or not. I don't think it was based on what I've been told, but who knows? Because this was during smoke season, so we don't know what was really being what was fed to us was accurate. But exactly what we called, exactly what we said yesterday. He's going to get a little bit of just a raise just for being him. So we'll talk about that if anybody has any more questions. Lazard went down hard at practice. Looked like his days might have been even numbered. And later on, he reported it was a gonad shot and that he is completely fine. Finished the rest of practice at 100%. Just got kicked in the nads. That's fine. He'll be okay. Aaron Rodgers will be okay. Just a typical nad shot. No problem whatsoever. Alvin Kamara is not attending voluntary OTAs. Not a surprise. Diggs isn't attending. There's a lot of players that don't attend this. So this is not really something you could... If I was him, I would. If I was him, I'd be like, look, I'm facing kind of a weird situation here. Maybe I should do everything I can to get on this team's good side. But the team apparently doesn't care about his legal situation, because his own head coach said, we're just going to assume that everything's fine, and until we're told by the NFL, we're going to move forward and run this guy out there onto the field. They're not going to do anything self-discipline-wise. This team does not care what's been going on off the field. So neither should you at this moment in time, at least according to his ADP. His ADP's in the 7th and 8th round on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. Use promo code Smitty and Underdog will match up to $100 in your first deposit. This guy's going in the 7th, 8th, and 9th round. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Even if it ends up failing you, it costs you almost nothing. This guy can win you a league. I absolutely love Alvin Kamara's value, as you all know. And him not attending OTAs is not a big deal, but certainly I would if I was these players. I'd live there. I don't understand the whole, I don't know. Calvin Ridley said he could get 1,400 yards receiving with T-Law, and I believe him, Eric. I believe him. Thank you for your super chat, Eric. You are the man, the myth, the legend, the man they call Eric Foreman. Eric, appreciate you. Good buddy, good pal. If I missed any other super chats, please let me know. Let me just search for them real quickly. I think I got them all out of the way. Overcome. Did I get this one? Overcome. I'm sorry. Overcome. I apologize. My problem now is how far would I reach for Ridley? Overcome. I'm so sorry I didn't see this until right now. For some reason it came in and I just probably was ranting and talking about the guy. How far do you reach? If I look at Underdog ADP, I would say that he's going, let me just take a look at a current draft that I'm in let me go to a Poodle draft that's ongoing right now. And let me take a look at where Calvin Ridley went in this ongoing, this is the most recent Poodle draft that is still slow. I'm in the 6th round right now. Right before the Poodles closed, I clicked on 7 of them. I went, boom, boom, add me 7 of them. And I grabbed 7 of the slow ones. And so they're still in like round 6, 7 right now. Calvin Ridley, in this particular draft, has he gone yet? He has to have gone yet. We're in the 6th round. We're in the 7th round. Or no, 6th round. Players, wide receivers, Calvin Ridley. Yeah, he's gone. Where did he go? Let me see. Calvin Ridley, 3rd round. That's why I was looking at the 4th and beyond. He went in the 3rd round. That's a little high. That's a little high. Not saying I don't like it. Not saying it can't be. Let's look at another Poodle draft and let's see where Calvin Ridley's going in that draft. 3rd round. He's a 3rd round staple. That's I looked at 3 straight drafts. He's going at 30 to 35. That is really, really high. 30 to 35. I was gonna say maybe he was settling in the 4th round. He's in round 3. I can't say I love that value though. I can't say I don't love it. I can't say I don't love it. I can't say I love it. I don't think I could really gonna lock like let's see what's D-Town. I can't read that over here. D-Town says really gonna look like scoring TDs in number 0. I'm excited about all these guys wearing 0. DeAndre Swift is wearing 0. Calvin Ridley's wearing 0. I think the 0 number is going to look pretty sick. And I'm hoping it gives some good luck to the boys wearing 0. And it doesn't have some kind of negative, vibe to it. Like, oh, all the guys wearing 0 are becoming 0s. I'm a little worried about that. 4th rounding your Poodle. Okay, so here's what I'd say. Do I like Lazard Thomas? He's okay. Nothing to write home about. He's a lot of options there. But he's okay. He's like a good 5, wide receiver 5, or something like that. I would say this, if you can get Ridley at the tail end of 4, like 4 turns into 5, I'm okay with that, and I feel pretty darn good about that value. Like, especially if you're drafting in the 12 spot, and at the 36, 37 back-to-back picks, the 3rd turns into the 4th round turn. I love Ridley there, and he's going to fall there, not a lot, but on a decent amount of occasions right now moving forward. I think best ball Ridley's going a little higher than I think in mom and pop drafts out there. I think if you're drafting with grandma, Uncle Bud, Uncle Buck, you're going to get Calvin Ridley at the tail end of the 3rd turn into the 4th round, because I feel like people that love him are going to absolutely on Underdog start just drafting him, overdrafting him, stacking him to T-Law. There's a lot of reasons why in best ball he could climb a little higher than in normal draft settings. So I think in redraft with grandma, with your hometown boys, you're probably getting him at that 30, I would say 35, 36, 37, 38. So the turn into the 4th round. So I would do that. I would go grab him there. Would I grab him at the top of 3 or middle of 3? Probably not yet, but I'm getting there. The whole point of this live stream is I'm getting there. I'd still rather have Watson. I'd still rather have Jahmyr Gibbs in the 3rd round versus wait till the 4th if I'm going to force Ridley in the 3rd. I still rather have Joe Burrow probably 9 times or 10 times out of 10. There's still players that in my mind in the 3rd round are almost always there that are going to stop me from grabbing Ridley at 3.5. But at the end of round 3, I'm all on it right now. I'll do it. I'll take him there. Smitty approved. Anywhere near the tail end of 3 turning into round 4, Calvin Ridley is Smitty approved.
You've just been Smitty approved.
All right, so that news. Overcome, appreciate you. Overcome, you still here, right? Yeah. I'm taking Ridley early. 4th, solid. Yeah, I mean, that's not early, though, Overcome. 4th is not early. 4th is like you may get him, you may not. Taking him early would be 3.4, 3.3, 3.2. And I don't know that I'd recommend that. But I agree. Anywhere at the tail end of 3, turn into 4, home run. Don't even worry about it. Overcome, appreciate your super chat. I'm sorry I saw it late. Appreciate you, my guy. Let's dig into this last piece of news, and then we're going to open the phone lines and talk about, hopefully you guys will bring up a lot of these topics, and we'll rehash Ridley. We'll talk about whatever you think of Aaron Rodgers. Brock Purdy, Coach Kyle Shanahan said Brock Purdy elbow will be allowed to start throwing sometime next week. I think this is something that, we have to wait and see. No one can possibly know how this is going to shake out. Nobody can know. Nobody should make too many predictions on the situation until we know exactly, what we're looking at, because Lance could come in and ball out. And so if you're banking on Purdy from a fantasy football perspective 2023 and you're drafting him and you're expecting him to get in there, you don't know. Lance could ball out. You can't bank on Trey Lance because Sam Darnold could start week 1. You can't bank on Brock Purdy because you don't know if he's getting rushed. This is the same coach that shoved him back onto the field after he completely tore his UCL. They removed him from the field because it was that bad of an injury. Take him off the field. He tore his UCL. And then what does this guy do? Shanahan shoves him back out onto the field because they needed him out there. They didn't need him out there when he tore his UCL, but once they had all their quarterbacks down, they shoved this guy back out there. And granted, it's a dumb rule that the NFL's corrected. The NFL has put in motion this new rule that allows a team to hold an emergency quarterback that has to be on the active roster. They can't bench the second quarterback to put him in, but the third quarterback is now available. And so that situation will be avoided next time. But there was an emergency quarterback that was not used on the Niners roster. Why make Juice the emergency quarterback if you're not going to use him? Like, why do it when you have a guy that tore his UCL? So my whole point is, this guy's going out there and throwing sometime next week. Is it too early? I don't know. I don't trust Shanahan at all. And so I'm staying clear of this Niner quarterback situation. I won't touch it at all. I won't go near it. I just won't. Okay, phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Super chat from Russian Collusion. Smitty, your text line number change? The text line number? No, I have the one-on-one text line on thefantasyfootballshow.com. So you get on over to thefantasyfootballshow.com, the one-on-one text line, the trade calculators, the bold predictions, the rankings, all that is there. The text line is there. This dial-in phone line for the show is not the text line, in case that's what you're talking about. But the text line has it's changed from like a year ago. Like, you got to go to the website, click on the text line in order. It's through WhatsApp now. Okay, the Bruce, you're live. So
hey,
yeah,
Smitty.
It has changed. If you're using the old text number, like from your cell phone, it's got to go through WhatsApp. Go to the website. Collusion, you can call in and I'll explain it to you. What's up, Bruce?
With Ridley, and we were talking about all the targets. Where would that leave ETN then?
ETN's a concern, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I love ETN. I still take him in the third round. I take him in the territory where Ridley's going. Like, for sure. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to throw enough that there's going to be a lot to go around, though. And Travis Etienne, everyone keeps saying that, let's put it this way. I'm not saying the people are wrong that are out there shoveling the Etienne's reception numbers last year are concerning. Because that's kind of the trend you see out there, right? You see a bunch of analysts and people peddling this. Etienne, his receiving numbers last year are concerning. I think it's like the typical line you hear, and they just regurgitate it. They're concerning because he needs more volume. Ridley being there, like, I get all that. Like, I'm going to be concerned to a degree. But at the same time, keep in mind there are players out there that have rookie years that aren't as effective in terms of catching the football. And yeah, this was his sophomore year last year. In you know, push comes. I think push comes to shove. This guy is going to go out there and have a sophomore year this year and pull in a lot more receptions and be a guy that I think you can count on being maybe double what he was last year in terms of pulling in the football. Do I think he's going to vault all the way to a 90 reception wide receiver / running back like he should be used? Like, that's where he should be used. He should be used to the capacity of a 70, 80, 90 reception running back. That's how good Etienne is catching the football. He is one of the best pass catching backs in the National Football League. You just don't know it. You just don't know it because the team doesn't use him. But my whole thing is that how are we judging this kid off of his low reception totals? Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't be concerned, but how are we coming to conclusions when we didn't come to conclusions on Breece Hall's reception total? We didn't come to conclusions on Kenneth Walker's reception total. We didn't come to conclusions on anybody's rookie year reception total, just like we won't come to conclusions on Bijan Robinson's reception total. Like, he was essentially a rookie last year because he didn't play at all, didn't play a single snap his rookie year. And so for me, I'm still hopeful that his PPR production can grow. I don't know that it's going to be where it needs to be, but it can grow. So I'm fully on board Etienne at a certain price point, but I am also concerned enough to say there are a lot of mouths to feed. He didn't do a ton last year, and that might be a repeated situation in 2023, and they just don't know how to throw the football to him. Look, T. Law and Etienne played together in college. They've got a great rapport together. This isn't something where he's got to learn how to block or pass protect for Trevor Lawrence or know where Trevor Lawrence wants him to be. I think one thing I would say is Etienne's end of the season was so phenomenal. It was so telling as to how much, let me see if I can find it, how much this team believes in him and how much this team is going to continue to give him the football. Here's his game log down the stretch in 2023. We've talked about this before. You almost have to rule out week 18 because in week 18, that was, they sat. He didn't get a lot of run. Nobody did in week 18. So you got to almost ignore week 18. And if you look at, let me get this other box here. Okay. So if you look at this week 15, 103 yards. Didn't have a touchdown. Week 16, 83 yards, 22 carries. Week 17, 108 yards and a touchdown. Week 18, again, you can't look at that. They sat him. Week 19, 20 carries for 109. That is in the playoffs. And then his final contest in the playoffs, 62 yards and a score. He finished on fire. He didn't finish on any sort of let down run where everybody's like, what do we make Etienne? Etienne finished very strong. Now, the receptions weren't there at the end of the year. It's not like he was on fire catching the football, but to me, it seems to me that the team 100% trusts him. And if you look at Etienne's missed opportunities, there are very few running backs in the National Football League, and I don't know the exact numbers in front of me, but I would venture to say he's like in the top 5 of RBs that had missed opportunities or taken opportunities from him, meaning Hasty comes in and rips off a 60-yard touchdown scamper that Etienne would have easily had, that James Robinson got a handful of touchdowns at the beginning of the year because they kept running him out there. And it was like he wasn't ultra effective. Etienne would have easily done that. Etienne got bad goal line carries back to back in some games. I remember, I believe it was 3 or 4 in a row, he got stuffed, and it was bad play calling. He was getting swarmed before he even got to the line of scrimmage. Not his fault. Etienne had so many opportunities taken from him that his stat line would have been enormous had he not missed those opportunities, which I think people don't look at those. They don't say, oh, let's look at missed opportunities. Were those oddball situations? Was that something that had to do with him? And we gotta expect that. I love Etienne. I am a little cautious. 3rd round seems fine. Late 3rd round is better. Mid 3rd round to late 3rd round packages in the risk that maybe they don't throw the ball to him like they should. But if they did, he'd be a top 5 running back. He really would. Go ahead, Bruce. What else you got?
What do we think? I don't know if we talked about this yesterday, but what do we think of when they brought up the teams he wanted to play for, the quarterbacks? D-Hop kind of smiled and laughed when they brought up Dak Prescott.
I think that quarterbacks, I think that wide receivers a lot of times don't know what they want, bro. They don't know what situations are even all that good. I mean, he knows that Buffalo is a good spot, but didn't they say KC, Buffalo? When Hopkins was asked where he would like to play football, DeAndre Hopkins, I think he rolled his eyes at, what was the situation he rolled his eyes at that was a good situation? That were like, the Jets. You want to play for the New York Football Jets? He was like, he just gave that shrug like, no, I don't want to play for. Why would you not want to go play for the Jets? Why is it? I don't think he's at a point in his career where he's like, oh, I want to have all the volume. I don't think he's thinking like that. I don't think that's why he doesn't want to go there. Buffalo, he wouldn't have all the volume. KC, he wouldn't have all the volume. To think the New York Jets aren't capable of winning a Super Bowl with Hopkins added to the roster, that's why I say I don't trust wide receivers to know what's good for them. Antonio Brown went to the Buffalo Bills and complained and cried until they decided to call the trade-off. He was traded to the Buffalo Bills, Antonio Brown, before he went to the Raiders. People forget he was a Buffalo Bill for a couple hours. And then they rescinded the trade. They reversed the trade because he refused to play. He said, I'm not going to play for the Buffalo Bills. While Josh Allen was in the midst of becoming Josh Allen, and it didn't take a rocket scientist at that point in that moment to see Josh Allen was going to become a thing. And the guy didn't want to play for Josh Allen. These wide receivers are too embedded in what they do to know what's good for them half the time. So for Hopkins to balk at going to play football with Aaron Rodgers in New York, when New York has the first or second best defense in the National Football League, and an offense is going to be top 5 to 8, like, what's wrong with him? Ridiculous. Don't worry about what Hopkins wants. Not to mention, what Hopkins wants doesn't matter because he's not in a position to get a long-term deal. Any team that acquires him is going to rent him for a year, and they're not going to be like, oh, let's give him a big fat contract extension on top of trading for him. He has no say over where he's going. He's either playing for a very bad Cardinals team or he's going somewhere that's probably going to be an upgrade, and he'd be lucky if Dallas came a-knocking. So Hopkins can't be he can't beg. You know, beggars can't be choosers. He can't choose when he's begging to get out.
Okay. Okay.
What else you got, Brucey? Hey, Brucey, you feeling okay? You doing well?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. You know, I'm feeling really good.
That's good, man. We're excited you're back on the saddle, and we appreciate you, Brucey. Thanks for calling in too. You can hang there too. Let me see if there's any other news that's floating around while you scoop up another question for me. Let me see if I can find anything from Shefty and the boys that's out that is worth talking about right now. Don't see anything much. Today's been kind of a slower news day. We're hoping for week 1, Kyle Shanahan said about Brock Purdy, and adds that they're optimistic he will be back before to get ready for the opener. I don't have any reason to think otherwise. That's just crazy. That's crazy to shove him out there. So on top of what we already talked about, he's talking about week 1. Kyle Shanahan's talking about week 1. Let me put this on screen. I just don't know how this is smart for a coach to be pushing a player to be back for week 1 that is clearly going to be like pushing the boundaries of this thing. And these injuries are still very much like unknown territories, you know? And he should have had, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I'm no doctor, but it sounds like the Tommy John surgery long-term was a better, option. And they didn't go that route. They went with the it's almost like a bridge repair of the UCL. And who knows what the longevity is of that? Who knows how quickly he'll be throwing rockets out there, missiles, and will he re-injure it? How stable is it going to be to put this little it's like a basically bridging the injury instead of doing a total Tommy John surgery, which a lot of people will tell you if you have a Tommy John and you sit out the whole year, you come back and your arm's stronger. So I don't know why they chose this path. I don't get it. But right here, we're hopeful. This is let's see here. Kyle Shanahan said there's no set timetable for Brock Purdy's return, but we're hoping for week 1. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. They're rushing.
Well, then I have a question about the Niners. Where does their offense, like any offensive player like a Debo or a McCaffrey, do they fall further now that we don't know their quarterback, and how far would they fall?
I'm already concerned about Debo. I don't know that I concern myself with CMC at all. Like, CMC's either going to get hurt or he's not. I don't think anything really. The offense will revolve around Christian McCaffrey. I think he'll be fine. Kittle, very much tied to the quarterback situation. We saw him go dormant under your boy Jimmy G. And a lot of that has to do with that Jimmy G was a first read, second read, and done type of guy. He didn't go through a progression tree because the longer he had the football, the more likely he was going to get sacked, fumble, cause a turnover. He was very much first read, quick release, get the ball on a design play to Debo. That was when Jimmy was having his success. The year Debo had his success, it was all to Debo Samuel. Quick reads, design plays. Where was Kittle? Kittle was completely dormant. Kittle was non-existent. Because Kittle would have to break off a block, run a route, run a delayed route. Jimmy never had the ball long enough to ever see Kittle through a route. And so when Brock Purdy got in there and Brock Purdy became the play extender that the Niners have been looking for, all of a sudden Kittle was running routes again. Kittle was able to be on the field long enough, after a blocking assignment to literally run a route, and Purdy scrambling around, even if it's scrambling inside the pocket, bouncing around, and he had great pocket presence. And he'd find Kittle, and Kittle would get more involved. So to have the quarterback situation in flux makes me feel like, okay, I can't trust Kittle. I can't trust Ayuk. Debo Samuel was a monster, and then he wasn't last year. And now he's going into potentially an unsettled quarterback situation again. Who knows what his role is going to be? There's injury concern for Debo. If they start running Debo a lot, then he's an injury concern. If they don't run Debo, he doesn't get the volume he needs consistently through the air, so therefore he doesn't score as much. I would say it's crazy. It's really weird, but this Niners situation, it's like I always describe. It's like having all this weaponry and having just one way to fire it off. You can't use it all at once. It's all very talented. It's the best offense and defense top to bottom in the National Football League if you just look at the weapons that are there. But there's just no way to facilitate it all and use it all. And so this offense is like just absolutely amazing and just overflow of talent. And there's no way to fully capitalize on it. So Christian McCaffrey's the one guy I don't think much will change. He'll run the ball through him. Injury's a concern, though, because, we worried about him staying healthy 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden we're just completely not worried about it anymore. I don't know. I'm still a little concerned about it. That's why I have Bijan scoring more than Bijan is my number one running back at the end of the year. Not that I would necessarily tell everybody to go draft that, although you're going to have to kind of do it now because his ADP's climbing like we predicted on the show. Like when people called us crazy taking him at 10. We were called crazy for taking him at 10, Bruce. Now the whole world's taking him as the second running back in the top 6. The whole world's catching up.
Yeah. They're listening to your show and they're taking your advice.
They're catching up, pal.
What do we think of Brady signing part ownership for the Raiders, too? You think he might just say, you know what? Jimmy G went down. I can come back. I know McDaniels.
I don't know what the rules are. I don't think you can be a part owner and play football. So you have to sell that ownership, I think, to play. I don't know if I have that right. I'm not positive. I'm guesstimating on that, but I'm pretty sure that you can't. That's a conflict of interest. I don't think you can own part of the team and play. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I think it maybe solidifies he's not coming back. Part of me wonders if he's doing that to convince himself not to come back. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you imagine him scrambling to sell ownership to get back on the field? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers favoring his ankle, ended up being his calf, from what we heard anyway. It could go back in the other direction, but that's what we're being told right now. I don't see any other pieces of news out there that are really worth talking about other than the Austin Eckler news. Looks like, report here on Twitter saying it's close to 2 million. We broke down the actual number. It wasn't 2 million according to this report. Maybe it ends up being 2 million, but 1.75 million in incentives being added to his contract. That's exactly what we talked about yesterday that would happen after he realized there was no market for him, after he understood the reality of his situation, that at 28 years old, especially coming out of this season next year being 29, there's no way he's going to get some huge fat contract. So
no, not even if he does like he did last year. I still don't see a team giving him a big contract.
Yeah, doesn't matter because he'll be 29. Just like Derrick Henry had a great year last year, but nobody wants to trade for him because they're like, okay, he's on borrowed time. He did what he did last year, defied a lot of odds. I admit I was one that was like, I'm gonna sit this one out. Not that I think he can't do it, but I'd rather be a year early than a year late, and the odds are against it, and he proved the odds wrong. Eckler could prove the odds wrong, but I would venture to say that you're not looking at like a 70% chance or something high that Eckler can play a full season or even remotely close. You're looking at a high percentage chance that he looks great for a while and then he, blows a gasket because he's 28 years old and he's been run into the ground. Yeah, he hasn't, he's got a lot of receptions to his, to his resume, and he didn't necessarily become a between the tackles guy his entire career, but he's a small statured guy, and he started running the football a lot between the tackles over the last 2 years, and to the tune of I'm worried, and to the tune of I think he'd be hard pressed, and it would be a miracle for him to do what Derrick Henry did at 28, and I'd rather just take another player that I feel very safe about. And then I'm not going to really lose a wink of sleep if I'm wrong and I did jump another year early on a player. Because I admittedly will jump a year early versus a year late. That's just my nature, and that's my advice for all my people, because I don't want you guys holding the bag for a player that it was like pretty clear that there was a huge risk. Like it's as clear as day that there's a big risk for Eckler in 2023. If there wasn't, why is his ADP in round 2? Coming off of the biggest year he's had, coming off of the season that Eckler had last year, why is he a second rounder? Because other people are very fearful as well. He'd be going number 1 or number 2 overall based on last year's numbers if anybody thought there wasn't a very high risk of him not coming to work, for 17 straight weeks. Eckler or Barkley? I'd take Barkley in 2023, pal. He's younger. There's less concern. But would I draft Eckler, play him for 4 or 5 weeks, then trade him on the high? Because I think he will start off great. Like, someone's going to come in here when Eckler has a great week 1 and say, "Oh, Smitty, how you feel now?" I feel the same. Because I've said that. Eckler could come in and tear it up for a month straight. Like, there's no drop-off yet. We haven't seen it. Like, with Todd Gurley, we saw it. Todd Gurley dropped off. We knew Todd Gurley was walking into his drop-off season, or at least I did. And I was beating a dead horse on it, beating a drum on it, constantly saying, guys, he dropped off. And he was going number 1 overall right out of the gate. People are drafting Todd Gurley number 1 overall. And this is it. He's done. He's done. And then slowly, I think we had a lot to do with it, to be honest. Slowly, people started.
You had that hour video, no Todd Gurley, no Todd Gurley.
Yeah. It was 2 hours. No Todd Gurley. No Todd Gurley. Said it for like, I think it was 5 or 10,000 times straight. No Todd Gurley awareness. But we haven't seen that with Eckler. Okay, so we haven't seen that with Eckler, so therefore he could have an amazing start to the season. That would not surprise me, and I'm telling you that is probably likely. He'll probably have a really good week 1, week 2, week 3. The question will be, can his body hold up at 28 years old? It is not likely. It's not likely. Is it possible? Absolutely. Give me Eckler if the price is right. Of course. Give me Derrick Henry still if the price is right. And I avoid him if the price isn't right. Give me anybody. There's a line in the sand for everybody, Swaggy. Everybody. Lance went a couple of picks ahead of Purdy in the 5th round. Darnold is still available in the 13th round Dynasty Superflex. I wouldn't be going near any of those, Space Ricky. You almost need all 3 to even touch that as your quarterback. I want nothing to do with that quarterback room. If I had to pick just one of them, I'd take Purdy. I'd just take Purdy. Trey Lance is being set up for failure. I don't trust Trey Lance, not because I don't trust him. I don't trust his coach and his situation that is literally telling you they're hopeful Brock Purdy's back by week 1. Literally telling you Trey had no shot. Trey had no shot. Trey doesn't have a shot to even beat out Brock Purdy if Brock Purdy's ready for week 1. Gibbs in the 4th. And that's really what it comes down to that people need to understand about a lot of my stances is that if we're saying here, let me find Gibbs. Where's my boy Gibbs at? Where's Gibby? I think he's right here. So here's Gibbs. If we're talking about round 4, okay, we're talking about round 4. We're talking about taking Eckler in 2. I'd rather, especially if I've got an RB like Bijan, let's say, and I'm sitting here contemplating taking Eckler at the near top of round 2, give me Olave and give me Gibbs in round 4. Is exactly what Ethan just said. This has been my mantra all off season long. It's not so much would I take Gibbs over Eckler. I'm not an idiot. I know the fair market value, but because I like Gibbs better than Eckler, don't tell anybody. It's between you and me. Because I like Gibbs better than Eckler, I'm going this route. And I'm building an absolute monster. I'm building an absolute team that I feel is going to smash people to pieces. And it comes down to the wide receivers in round 2 that just feel safer than Eckler. It comes down to the wide receivers in round 3 that could feel safer than Derrick Henry. But there is a line in the sand for everybody. There is. Russian Collusion dropping yet another super chat on screen. Russian, appreciate you, my guy. Russian says, completed the draft on ESPN and Eckler was number one running back. I feasted on that draft. I got every moon, man. It's crazy. ESPN is a place to go take full advantage of bad ADP right now. Like if I was to recommend anybody to go on a platform and draft, it would probably be ESPN because it sounds like they've got players like Gibbs really low. Olave's going in round 3 or 4 still on ESPN ADP. So the suggested rank is suggesting to all the grandmas, hey, go take Olave in round 3, not 2. And the most pushback I get is the Poodle 2 out? Is the Poodle 2 out? Oh, buddies, the Poodle 2 is out. Oh, my goodness gracious. We're jumping into one.
Hey.
Poodle 2 is out. Who said that? Mike. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Whoever said it ahead of time. Poodle 2 just drops his D-Class. D-Class might have said it first. I appreciate you dropping that. Let's get into a Poodle 2 real quick. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Let me drop the link in the live chat. if you guys want to get into a poodle draft with me right now, I'm just going to jump in. I'm not going to live stream the entire draft, I don't think. But here it is. Here's the link. Get in. Underdog Fantasy will match up to $100 on your first deposit. So get into that. Poodle 2s are out. These are let's see what it's $300K in prizes, $7 entry. Hit the enter button now. Let's jump in. Poodle 2.
I got a question, Smitty.
Yeah, what's up?
On your premiere live with Swift, he was going pretty late. What do we think of doing the Wolfpack and then getting Swift as our running back 1?
Well, that's what I think my video describes is this right here. Is when you do the Wolfpack, Kamara and Swift and Charbonnet are the 3 best running backs that anybody could have. The 3 best friends that anybody could have once you go Wolfpack here. So if you go Wolfpack and get Garrett Wilson, I'll have to find that. Let me just hit this right here. So if anybody doesn't know what the Wolfpack is, this is the Wolfpack. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Drake London, and Christian Watson. This is the quad squad, the burn unit, the Wolfpack, the 4 amigos. I give you the 4 best friends that anybody could have. So the quad squad, the Wolfpack, the burn unit right here, going round 1 Wilson, round 2 Olave. You might even have to go Watson round 3 and London round 4. Just depends on where Watson's going. Watson's been climbing, London's been falling, so we might have to swap those, but it still works perfectly. The Wolfpack right here, as I talk about, I believe in the video I mapped this out, Brucey, that the Wolfpack, if you get those 4 right here, and you get Swift, Kamara, and a couple guys like that, Pacheco, if you want to swap Pacheco out, Dameon Pierce, if you want to swap out Dameon Pierce, all those guys are interchangeable. So definitely check that out, that strategy out, and that video out. Okay, so here we go. It looks like I got the 10 pick in this Poodle 2. Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, and let's see here. Tyreek Hill. I don't know if we got any usuals in here. This filled really quick when I clicked on it. It filled like immediately. Let's see if I can draft a Wolfpack draft right now. Live on the show. Let's see if we can draft a Wolfpack draft. Let's go. Okay, so Bijan just went. Let's go Garrett Wilson here. It's a little early, but we'll do it. We'll try and do this Wolfpack draft right now. Garrett Wilson. Doing it live. Austin Eckler. Kelsey. Pick, baby. Is that you? Ethan? Okay. So we're gonna try the Wolfpack out. Russian Collusion dropped a super chat. Completed a draft right now on ESPN. Number 1. Oh, I got that one already. Kevin says, real talk, what does Charbonnet finish this year, running back 3? I think he can. I don't want him to. That means that Walker gets injured, but he still could be really productive even if Walker doesn't go down. He could still be a flex type player. Let's go. So just looking at the RBs right now, just to glance at it. I mean, I do like some of these guys, but I would like to play out this Wolfpack. So we're going Wolfpack here. So far, we've done it. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. That is the Wolfpack. That is these gentlemen right here. So I've completed and executed the first part of the Wolfpack. Wilson, Olave, and then it would be Watson and London would be next. So we'll try and execute that and complete that out. Okay, so let's get back to the draft here. Here's the board. So let me go over the draft. It went Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce, A.J. Brown, Bijan Robinson, Garrett Wilson, Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Wolfpack, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, and then the number 4 overall pick just took Nick Chubb. The number 3 draft slot has Jamar Chase, and who do they grab? Now, the one thing I've come to struggle, though, when I try the Wolfpack is I still love some of these guys that fall, and I'm almost forcing myself to take, to pass on a player that I almost want to draft over, let's say, one of the Wolfpack wide receivers in the 3 and 4 spot, the London and Christian Watson players. But Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry. So the first overall draft slot's got Justin Jefferson, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry. The second draft slot's got Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Smith, and Ramondre Stevenson. The third draft slot's got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Josh Jacobs. I assume they think they're getting Joe Burrow on the way back. Cooper Kupp, Nick Chubb, and Josh Allen. Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, and Bad Mother. Who are they going to get with their third drafted player? Kevin, appreciate you asking the Charbonnet question, and the honest truth is I don't know. I think he's, if he gets some starts, he could absolutely become a monster per start. I don't know what he finished, though. How many games would he start? Tough to say. Do I have anybody else on the line? Is it just Bruce? Bruce, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Okay, so we're
listening to you do the
Calvin Ridley, Mark Andrews. We're almost ready. We're going to be able to get. We're probably going to be able to get Christian Watson. That'll probably work. It looks like we can deploy the Wolfpack during this draft. Bijan, Amari Cooper. Okay, so I'm going to go Christian Watson here. I'm very tempted to. Like, I see Walker, I see Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, this is where I get to a point where I'm like, oh, God, do I just stay the course and go the Wolfpack? What do we do? Do we go Gibbs here? Or do we go Watson?
I say Watson.
Okay, we'll continue. Maybe we detour and grab Gibbs if he's still available. There he went. Jahmyr Gibbs just went. That might be one of our guys, so he probably was licking his chops. So we're going full Wolfpack on this one. Part of me wants to go Gibbs so bad. Or do I detour and go Joe Burrow? Because, London's a little more replaceable than any of the other components there. So part of me is like, maybe we go Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I like Burrow if he falls there, yeah.
Because, Drake London, I like Drake London, but I feel like Joe Burrow is a little more important here. We're going to divert. This is important for you to see happen live, too. The best player available. Don't just stick to a plan. I want to go Wolfpack very, very badly, but I'm going to go Joe Burrow here, and I'm going to say divert. We went Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Let me show my team. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Christian Watson, Joe Burrow. And we're still deploying the Wolfpack. That's strong. I've got another Wolfpack team that I'm deploying right now as we speak in a slow draft, and I've got it. I executed it, so I don't mind doing that. Someone says stay the course. I know a lot of you wanted me to stay the course. I should. Part of me thinks I should have, but I couldn't pass on Burrow there. I think we did the right thing. I'm so glad the Poodles are back. This is great. Drake London went right there at 44 overall. I don't think it was a mistake. I think we're still going to get exactly what we wanted to execute here. Brucey.
Yeah.
What else you got? Call into the show, guys.
I'm thinking of like what you were saying with Ridley, and it brought me to Zay Jones and all them. I'm thinking, why not just mix it up with the Wall Dog and maybe not go with one of the receivers, but go with ETN, because the receivers and the tight ends are going to be, it's going to be crowded in that receiving room.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the Law Dog, Trevor Lawrence, is just going to he's going to have a phenomenal season no matter what. He's definitely going to cook.
You think he's going to take a seat or try to take a seat at the big boy table?
I think he's going to have cups of coffee with him. I think he's going to dance in the top 5.
Answer your question. Here is a biography for Alex Murdoch.
What's Ziggy talking about?
Along with his sister
Ziggy, off. Alex Murdoch. Why is he talking about who's Alex Murdoch? Who's Alex Murdoch? All right, we're almost on the clock here. Okay, I see you calling in. Hang tight 1 second. Let's see. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who are we talking to? Yeah, who's this? You're live. All right. Didn't want to talk. All right, so RBs that are right here. What do you think, Brucey? Should I go with my boy Swifty here? Do we go J.K. Dobbins? Do we go Pierce? This is our first.
I would go with your boys.
Yeah,
go with your boy Swifty.
Let's do it right now. This is our team. We're gonna make our first RB. This high risk play. We'll go Swift, and then we'll have this combination here. That looks fire. Straight fire. Hold on, this guy's calling back in again. Almost on the clock. Hang tight, caller. Okay, running backs that are available. JK's obviously I'm on the clock again. JK's there. I could go Trevor Lawrence and double up the QBs and have the optimal scoring, but Kyle Pitts just went. Mike Evans is decent. George Pickens is decent. You know, I don't normally do this, but let me go JK here. Let's try it.
What's your feeling towards JK?
The all injured running back stable. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who's this? What's up, Isaac? What can I do for you, pal?
What's up, Smitty? I just need to let you know that last year I would have dominated my league with your help, but due to injuries, that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
I had Cooper Kupp, Breece Hall, and Javonte Williams all on the same team.
Yeah, I feel so bad for my people that literally don't. No one knows that you guys almost just annihilated and took your entire league out. You know, I'm here to pat you on the back. I know a lot of people won't pat you on the back and they have no idea what you were about to do to them, but I do. I know.
I picked up Kenneth Walker on the waivers too because of your help last year.
Hey, I appreciate you, pal. Yeah, Kenneth Walker, was crazy how many leagues he was dropped in. And same with Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce had a bad start, and everyone's like, oh, it was a dumb advice, Smitty. I'm cutting him. And then anybody that cut him just hated him even worse. They just hated him. They hated him worse. They couldn't live with themselves after that. They're like, I cut this man.
Everybody wanted to trade for him after I picked him up like the next week.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about this start so far that I've got? I went with the 3 out of the 4. I could have got all 4 of the Wolfpack, but I decided to divert and go Burrow. What do you think of Burrow, Swift, J.K., Garrett Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson?
I think that's fire.
Looks
sure.
good. It looks good. I'm liking it a lot.
Do you think T-Law would have been available if you went London? Do you think T-Law would have been there?
Yeah, he was there. But I think Burrow, and that's not a bad. It's not a bad alternate, look for sure. But I love the look of Burrow here. I think Burrow is just such a wild card this year in that 4th round territory, because look at these other quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts 17 overall, middle of round 2. Mahomes 18 overall, middle of round 2. Joe Burrow belongs there, and you're getting him in the 4th round. It's like taking candy from a baby. I know T-Law can dance with those guys, but Burrow can own them. Burrow could be the number 1 quarterback in the NFL this year. Burrow could be the number 1 fantasy football quarterback, and somehow he's been plucked from the round 2 guys and been placed in round 4. And to me, I when I come across it, I can't resist. I can't resist because even if he disappoints, he's going to explode from that ADP. Even on a disappointing year, he's going to annihilate that ADP. Just absolutely blast it.
And we're going to knock on wood that we don't drive his ADP higher.
Yeah, I agree with that. Goddard, I'm on deck here. Let's go to the RBs. James Conner, Javonte Williams. Look, there's still wide receivers that I could grab here, but I don't know that I love those guys. I like Waller a lot right here. I'll probably go... I'm going to stay the course and grab the Kamara and do this approach that I mapped out in the video. So the Burrow, Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Kamara, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson. That's straight fire. The question is, do I go Charbonnet here to top off my running back crew, or do I go with like a Jameson Williams who's going to come in strong later? Or do I go
Charbonnet?
Or do I go Waller?
You have J.K., you said?
Yeah.
I think he's very undervalued this year.
I do. I agree. So I got to go. I'm going to go Charbonnet, Waller, or Jameson Williams. Answers quick. 3 seconds.
Charbonnet.
Let's do it live. So going wide receiver, quarterback. I didn't take a running back until my 5th drafted player. I didn't take an RB until my 5th drafted player. I went wide receiver, Joe Burrow. And I've got what I believe to be an outstanding running back stable in Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Alvin Kamara, Zach Charbonnet. And to have Garrett Wilson, Olave, and Watson with Joe Burrow, this team is straight fire. Whoa, just got out of the draft. Let's see, is this the Poodle draft? Where's my... Yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm back. Man, I'm excited about this team. We got Young calling in. Young, you're live on the show, pal.
Hello?
What's up, Young? How do you like this team, Young?
Hey, yeah, I'm liking it, man. I like the Swift. I like the take on Swift, too.
I'm liking JK more and more, I admit. I wasn't huge on JK in the beginning of the offseason, but I'm starting to really like JK at this value, 63. His ADP's 56. I got him at 63 overall. I got him at a steal.
Yep.
I got him almost near.
If you do that,
10. What?
Yeah, you could go. You could go with those guys and then do the that running back hero thing you're talking about.
This is the hero running back. Essentially, this is less than hero.
Oh yeah.
This is less than hero because we didn't even take a top running back in the beginning of the draft or anything. We went. This is like hero on steroids. This is a crazy.
Okay.
Reach.
Yeah,
Haha, love it, bro. Says Grant. Are we reaching, Grant? I don't think we're reaching here. I don't think there's any reaching going on.
Yeah. Hey, I just have 2 quick questions for you, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, so my commissioner of my league is basically, you know how there's 6 bench spots? For our league, there was 6 bench spots, and he wants to take one of them out and just have 5 bench spots. How do you feel about that? Like, what does that even? Does it even matter that much?
It does, but it's a keeper league. Like, you have to cut somebody now.
No, it's just he just wants to make it like that. Like,
so it's a redraft
5.
league. If it's a redraft league, I don't care.
It's a redraft.
Yeah,
it's a redraft league. But then also too, my other quick question was, he basically, our league is trying to. Most people voted and we did a vote, and most people, not this season, but the one after that, I think we're going to make it a two-man keeper league. So how do you feel about that? Like, is that lame, or what do you think of that?
Jamison Williams just went. Damn it. Almost got him back at this pick right here. That's crazy. Two keeper league. Let's see. Wait, hold on 1 second. Let me draft this pick here. I think I might go Kincaid a little early here just to make sure I get him. I'm going to go Kincaid here. And then I want to be on the clock in a second. Two-man keeper league. I don't mind two-man keeper league. You know, I think as long as everybody knows the rules walking in, like you say, move bench spots from 5 to 4. It doesn't matter. Everybody's playing by the same rules. That creates a more active waiver wire. That means more players can be had on waivers that can win a league. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. That's all. Everybody's playing by the same rules. And as long as you're drafting fresh and you're keeping two guys and everybody you haven't already drafted, then those are all, you're playing in the confines of the rules. Everybody knows what's up. I have no problem with that at all.
So basically it's like I don't know if we're going to be able to trade or make trade. I don't know how it works really. But it's a two-man keeper in Dynasty is two completely different things, right? Like, or is a two-man keeper kind of basically like Dynasty? I don't know how all that works.
All right, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I mean, I love any, as long as you know the rules up front. Swaggy says that's how Smitty rules, and if you think otherwise, you are wrong for making your own decisions. Who says this, Swaggy? Who says this? When do I not let people have their own voice, Swaggy? It's about respect. People call in all the time and have different opinions from me. And just because I'm going to argue with an opinion, this is an opinion show, bro. This is what am I supposed to do? Everything's great. You like this guy and I don't like him. Like we argue all the time. It's fine. But it's about respect, Swaggy. What are you even talking about? And dial in and have a conversation with me instead of in my chat bad-mouthing me in my own chat, Swaggy. Like, call into the show at least instead of bad-mouthing me in the chat. I mean, what are you even talking about? Okay, I took Mingo at this in this 10th round spot. So far, my team is as follows. Look at this bad boy. Burrow, Swift, J.K., Kamara, Zach Charbonnet, Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson, Jonathan Mingo, Kincaid. Woo! All right, Young, hang tight. Yusuf, what do you got?
What's up, Smitty? How you doing?
What's up?
So, I'm in a league with my friend, and I've been trying for so long to convince them to switch to PPR, but they're just all set on half PPR, so I'm stuck with that. So my question to you is, I have the 4th pick in our draft, and I'm pretty sure I have a rough idea of the 3 picks before me. So it's looking like it's going to be Bijan, McCaffrey, and Jefferson. And I was leaning Chase for the 4th pick. Do you agree with that? Or
yeah. Look, Chase is my number 1. Even in 0.5 PPR, he's my number 1. You're getting the number 1 overall player.
Okay, so 100% Chase.
Yeah, I'd take him number 1. You're getting a screaming steal, bro.
And it's a 8-man. So you think like with my 2nd pick back around, it's a snake. You think like in an 8-man, like Pollard could fall back to me, or like Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson probably won't, but if he did, you need to snag him. You need to snag him immediately. But do I think Pollard's a reach there? No, Pollard should be available there. He should be, but I don't know. It depends on who's on the clock, bro. Like, I can't tell you a player to take for sure. I would just say, I would say it depends.
And like, would you say Burrow's a reach for the stack or nah?
He's not a reach per se, but I think you could get him in the 3rd round pretty easily. So why go down that road?
Got you.
So I'd definitely try and take advantage of the fact that he's available most times in round 3. I mean, look where I got him, bro. I got him in the 4th round. Look at my team right here. My team is in the third to last column. Garrett Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson, Joe Burrow. If I'm taking Joe Burrow in round 2, look what I'm leaving on the table. You know, Chris Olave should be also a target of yours if you go Jamar Chase. Look at the running back stable we were able to create going wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver Chris Olave, wide receiver Christian Watson, Joe Burrow. I didn't start picking my running backs off until round 5.
Yeah. So Olave is like a good 3rd round target.
Bro, he's a good 2nd round target.
2nd round target, gotcha.
But if he's there in the 3rd round, you just might as well dance straight to the bank. Just do a money dance straight to the bank. I mean, yeah, take a look at this draft. Like, go rewatch this video as we go and see where the players are falling. Olave took him in the 15 overall spot, which a lot of people might say is early. If you draft on ESPN, the suggested rank is everything, bro. The suggested rank is everything. The suggested rank will tell you what you can get away with. Not that where you should draft him, but if Olave's in the 3rd round on ESPN drafts, why on earth would you take him in the 2nd when you can steal him away? So look at that suggested rank and use it to your advantage and crush your league mates. Don't go reaching out of turn and grabbing guys like Olave because I say he's great and you grab him and he's 15 players down. You're completely missing leaving a lot of, value on the table.
Yeah, I got you. That's all I got for you.
All right, appreciate you, man. Thank you, Yusuf.
Thank you. No
Young, you got anything else? I'm sorry, Young. I didn't mean to really cut you off, but to answer your question in general, none of those are all preference things to me. I don't care about any of that. Like if you tell me I'm playing in a league where you keep 2 guys, then fine. I play in a league right. Like I don't need to worry about it. Like as long as everything's done before the draft and no one's getting surprised, no one's drafted already and they're told, okay, now we're going to make it a keeper league. That's a dumb commissioner. That's a bad commissioner that tries to create rules after things have already taken place. That's selfish. That's the commissioner wanting to do something for his own good.
Yeah, because there was in our league, there was a bunch of crazy trades last season, and we all talked about it. And if we would have known that it was going to be a 2-man keeper going forward, nobody would have done a lot of the trades that they did last year. So that's what was the deciding factor. And then, I appreciate that, bro. And then also, my last question is, when do you expect ESPN to start getting that ADP more accurate?
I don't know, bro. I hope for the sake of a lot of you're able to take advantage of it for a while. Like, if I could recommend somebody moving their draft over to ESPN and then moving it back over to the platform they want to manage it on, that's the way to go, bro. You're gonna clean up with the suggested rank is so powerful. Look at this. Look who Kyler, Roshan, Higbee, KJ Osborne, Irv Smith. These are the suggested players. Usually, the next selected player, watch, you'll see him vanish from this group here. It's usually somebody that's in range. Look, Irv Smith. He was in range of the top 10 overall players. People get to this point. Roshan Johnson was number 2 on the suggested rank. They just don't know where to go from here. And they say to themselves, I can't take somebody. I'm going to get made fun of if I take somebody too down here. I don't care when I get to this range here. Reaching doesn't matter when you're in round 13. Don't listen to anybody that says you should, not take your guy when you're in round 13. Who cares? Downs is literally 17 players or so down, and I'll take Josh Downs before I take any of these guys up top. I'm not going to force myself to take a player I don't like. I need let's see, what's my team look like? I've got 2 quarterbacks. I've got Swift, J.K., Kamara, and Zach Charbonnet. I've got Garrett Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson, Jonathan Mingo, Hyatt, and Kincaid. I could use a tight end. I'll queue Laporta, potentially take him with one of these next 2 picks. I'm queuing Downs. Let's see here. What running backs are available? Chase Brown. I don't mind Chase Brown right here. Yeah. I feel like Chase Brown. And so what I do is I look at the rank here. Okay, Laporta's ranked the highest out of all these guys. I'm probably going to go with Laporta because I can get away with probably getting some of these other guys later. So I went Laporta. I've got my backup tight end. I've got 2 rookie tight ends, which I normally don't do. I even said at the beginning of the year, this is a mistake to start counting on these guys as rookie tight ends, but they both landed in unusually crazy situations. Kincaid's going to get force-fed. Laporta's got no Jameson Williams for 6 weeks. These are unusual situations with a really good tight end class, so I really like the value there. Garrett Wilson, Olave, Watson, Mingo, Hyatt. I love the squad. Team is fire, says Space Ricky. Thank you, Space Ricky. Okay, so now I'm on the clock here. I've got to go. I'm probably going to go Downs here because he's the highest ranked guy, and I don't want someone to. I have a better chance of maybe getting some of my later queued guys by going Downs now. And Downs is a really, really good wide receiver. I think he adds to my wide receiver arsenal. I've got 3 rookies below my 3 starters, and I think I'm going to land one of them. I think one of Mingo, Hyatt, or Josh Downs is going to explode and be like a top 20 wide receiver. I think one of those guys is going to hit hardcore. And, of course, I love Watson, Olave.
Downs or Mingo? If you had to choose Downs or Mingo.
Well, I chose Mingo ahead by quite a bit. Josh Downs I took at 159. I just took Mingo at 111. So they're a grip of rounds apart. So Mingo's the answer, but that doesn't mean Josh Downs at the end of the day won't be better. I love all 3 of them. I wanted all 3 of them. I needed to have all 3 of them. I love owning those guys. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this team. This team. Did Swaggy ever clarify what in the hell he was talking about? Because Swaggy, I'm sitting in here. What is it that you were even? What was Swaggy even responding to when he's bad mouthing me in my own show? He says he's respectful. I saw a comment. I'm always respectful. How are you respectful when what you just said wasn't respectful? Nothing ever phases me. You always speak my mind, and I'm always respectful. You weren't respectful when you said this is how Smitty, you basically called me a tyrant in my own live chat. How is that respectful, Swaggy? I don't even understand what you're talking about. I was against a lot of things people on this channel was screaming with Smitty, and I was absolutely right last year, especially with Run CMC and Barkley and all the players he didn't like. Okay, Swaggy, so you got a couple things right. Do you think we didn't get some things right on this channel as well? Like, why don't you have a channel, Swaggy? Where's your channel, Swaggy? If you're so good at this and you're running circles around everybody, where's your channel, Swaggy? I don't understand. Grant, appreciate you with your super chat. Unbelievable. Some people. Isaac, what else you got?
Yeah, I remember you talking about like sleeper tight ends, and you mentioned like Jelani Woods for this year.
Yep.
How come he's so far down in the tight end rankings in sleeper? He's like past like backups, like likely.
I don't know.
I
don't know why. I think he hasn't proven it, and he's supposed to have been pretty good, and he hasn't. He hasn't done it yet, so people are just kind of like cautious. The offense was putrid last year, but he's going to be a safety net for Anthony Richardson as AR-15 gets in there and tries to learn, how to facilitate the football at the NFL level. You got a 6'7" tight end monster that's going to be sitting there in the red zone. I mean, I like the odds of Jelani Woods looking pretty good. He's definitely a guy I love taking as my 3rd drafted tight end.
Yeah, because they have like Michael Mayer ranked ahead of him, which he could be a good player, but just the situation he's in is probably worse than Woods.
Yeah, I like Michael Mayer as a talent. I hate his situation. I wouldn't be shocked. I could draft one over the other though. Like I don't feel like Jelani's a lock, but Jelani's got such a big frame. I think good situation now. Jelani Woods is exciting to me. All right, we're getting close to the end here. This team is looking straight fire. I can't believe I got J.K. Dobbins in the mix of this, Like that.
I like J.K. a lot.
That felt unusual.
I do too.
That felt unusual. I mean, I got him at 63. His ADP's 56, so, I mean, that was a steal. But to get J.K. with this running back stable that is no running back was taken before round 5, that's crazy. That's a really good running back stable.
And Smitty, you think Swift, they're going to rank Swift higher now that he's on the Eagles, or you think he's just going to stay put?
What do you mean, stay put? Who stay put where?
Like in the 5th round.
Oh,
Like,
well, I mean, he's
isn't
been
gonna
on the
go-
Eagles. He's been on the Eagles for a while. This is his new ADP. His new ADP is the late 5th, early 6th round. Maybe 6.5 is like kind of where you can find him a lot. And I mean, we've had the ADP data settled quite a bit. All right, so good move by me to not take Chase Brown over Downs because Chase Brown fell. I'm going to grab Chase Brown right here. I think that gives me yet another running back, nice little sleeper running back to throw into this group right here. I think he's got a lot of upside. I got him stacking him to Burrow essentially, so that's good. I got Love and Christian Watson, so I've got some decent stacks here. I will probably say here, if we look at the suggested rank, I always love having 3 quarterbacks. I'm going to take Sam Howell here because I think he's in for a big season, and I want to have 3 QBs. I think it's smart to have 3 QBs because if one of your quarterbacks gets injured, and they don't have a bye week conflict anyway, but if one of them gets hurt, like let's say Joe Burrow gets banged up, and all of a sudden you've got Jordan Love on a bye in week 6, and that's the week you need him. Like, you need another option. And so I think it's definitely advantageous to have a trio of quarterbacks. And I think the same thing about tight end. As long as you build your running back room and wide receiver room effectively, and you're not stacked like to the rafters with the same bye week, and I don't really have that going on either. 2 bye week 11 guys. But I think 3 tight ends is also a very vital thing. At least for me, because especially if you're going cheaper at tight end, if you got a Kelsey, maybe you can get away with just 1 extra tight end. But if you've got like a couple rookies like I've got, you almost have to bank on another one because what if they're slow moving? What if they don't get going? And not to mention, I'm already playing from behind with some of the teams that have, Kelsey or whoever, Hawkinson. So I kind of need a combination of guys that can all put their hat in the ring for points, any given week. And then maybe I'm averaging 7 points, 8 points a game out of that position versus 5 because I got 3 guys. That rotation helps you get that extra amount of points, All right, so we're heading back. We're almost done here. We're going to have 2 more picks for me, and then the draft will be over. I might end the show at that point. Young, you got anything else, Young?
Hey, no, that's all I could think of for right now. Thank you, Smitty. I appreciate it, brother.
Hey, Young, call in anytime. But yeah, answer your question. As long as all the rules are out there ahead of time and no one's affected, I'm all for keepers and things like that. Keeper leagues are fun. They do make an enjoyable draft, but they do complicate things and people leave leagues when they have no good keepers. But keepers are fun. It's easier to keep a league together that is a keeper league than a dynasty league. Dynasty leagues are really hard to keep together. Because once people's teams start sucking, they leave. So, all right, bro.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what? All right, man. Yeah, no, it's all good, man.
No, what else you got? What else you got?
No, it's probably like a long question, but like, what's the difference between dynasty and a keeper league?
Dynasty, you keep everybody. It's like an NFL franchise. You got everybody there. Only difference is there's no contracts. You just keep everybody forever. So you've got 18 guys,
wow.
They're yours. If you cut them, then yeah, you can pick up another guy and keep him forever. If you trade a guy, you're trading, for Bijan on the assumption you get to keep him for as long as you want. No restrictions whatsoever. Keepers where you're choosing like a couple guys to keep, let's see here.
Hey, can you trade for draft picks if it's a keeper league?
I mean, it depends. I mean, it's all up to the commissioner.
It's up to the commissioner. Yeah, got you.
Yeah,
right,
like let's say you keep 2 guys, but you have 3 amazing guys. You might be able to move your 4th rounder into the 2nd round by giving somebody, this keeper that you have that you can't keep. So it's advantageous to be able to trade. Yeah. All right, Young. Appreciate you, man.
That sounds fun, bro. All right, cool. I'm down with it. All right, man. Thank you. Have a good one, bro. Appreciate it.
Later. Isaac, final thoughts, bro.
Nah, I got nothing, but thank you. Can't wait for more of the redrafts to come around. I play basketball, but, I find, doing the trades and all that, it's really fun. So I can't wait for that to start.
Bro, I'm going to have a lot of trade videos coming up on how to trade, how to do this. Jelani Woods or Luke Musgrave? I kind of like Luke Musgrave, but I just don't know if I want 3 rookie tight ends. But what do you think, Bruce? What do you think, Isaac? Woods?
I'd go Woods.
Is it either Woods or Musgrave? That's it?
I'm going to go Musgrave on this and just roll the dice. He's got a nice skill set. I think one of these guys will pop. Okay, so here's the team so far. And the draft is over for me anyway. I've drafted my last player. Dalton Kincaid, Laporta, Musgrave, all rookie tight ends, but it's kind of an exciting group. Garrett Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson, and then nothing but rookie wide receivers. I got Mingo, Hyatt, Downs, and Nathaniel Tank Dell. Running backs, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Alvin Kamara, Zach Charbonnet, and Chase Brown. Quarterbacks are Burrow, Love, and Sam Howell. I'm liking it. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they rank my team because, they hate rookies. The projections hate rookies, so it'll probably be, I would guess, in like the 2,600 range where the top team might be like 3,100. Might be something like that. But man, that was a nice little draft. A little detour from the plan of attack. From this third to last column here is where my pick is. So the Garrett Wilson, the third column from the right. Garrett Wilson, Olave, Christian Watson, and Drake London was supposed to be the pick because we were going to try the good old Wolfpack. I'll explain in 1 second. But I diverted and went Joe Burrow because I think Joe Burrow wins you a league in round 4. So let's see what it ranks us here. But yeah, Poodles are back, guys. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link is in the description of the video. Let me drop the link one more time in the video. Make sure you play Underdog Fantasy if you want to get into these drafts. I just dropped the link. It's in the description of every video. Get into an Underdog draft now. The Poodles just dropped. So yeah, 2642 on the money. I knew they were going to rank me about 2,600 with the top team being about 32, it looks like. 32. Kind of crazy. That they just have no respect for rookies, which is fine. I never want to finish in their top projected because I don't agree with it. So, they use last year's stats and all that. But if we look at the team that scored the most, this was Anthony Richardson, Tua, Aaron Rodgers. I liked Aaron Rodgers and Anthony Richardson. I can't believe he got Aaron Rodgers later than those other two quarterbacks. Barkley, Brees, Dalvin Cook. Pretty good running back stable. Tyreek, London, Pittman. It's a good team. I mean, this does deserve to be ranked high, but I love the craftiness of the squad that we got here. The Wolfpack. The Wolfpack being right here, ladies and gentlemen. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Drake London, and Christian Watson. This is the Quad Squad, the Burn Unit, the Wolfpack, the 4 amigos. I give you the 4 best friends that anybody could have. On top of that, we've got the Wolfpack right here. This is the Quad Squad. So we detoured. We didn't take London. We took Watson. We didn't take London. We put Joe Burrow right there. But as mapped out on the most recent DeAndre Swift video, as mapped out on the Wolfpack video that's out there, the 2 most recent videos on this, this is the strategy at play. I deployed this strategy almost to a T. Well, not the Bijan part. So Gibbs, we could have taken Gibbs potentially as well, and that would be a variation that I would try and deploy. But we pulled off this right here. We went with Garrett Wilson. Where's Garrett Wilson when you need him? Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Watson, and where's Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow when you need him? Here's what I did. Garrett Wilson round 1, Olave round 2, Christian Watson round 3, and instead of going Drake London, we went Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, Charbonnet, Kincaid, but we also got J.K. Dobbins in the mix here, which was crazy. So we deployed this, I think, to a T. Absolutely love the squad right here. All right, Isaac, appreciate you, pal.
Appreciate you.
Later.
I'll see you on the stream tonight for the Panic Chamber.
Yeah, Panic Chamber tonight, midnight. Later.
I see ya.
Brucey, any final thoughts?
Yeah, what are we thinking of? They drafted a running back, the Lions, but I forget. But they signed Monty to a deal that's like a starter deal. How are we gonna look at which one's the number one there?
Well,
Not a blank.
I mean, and I'm pinning that link on Underdog if anybody wants to get in on these drafts. I pinned the link right now. I think Monty's needed. When anybody that says I'm worried about Monty or Smitty, I fear Monty. Smitty, love your squad. Do you care about grabbing veteran wide receivers with young guys? I do, but I tend to grab the rookies at the end because I grab I consider, my wide receiver crew, the Garrett Wilson, Olave, Watson, the veterans. To me, I know they're sophomores, but they're coming in strong. Smitty, your thoughts on wide receiver Butte, New England? Butte's okay. Collusion, I'm not super excited about any New England wide receiver, to be honest, though. Brucey, your question was again? I'm sorry.
I'm shooting a blank on the Lions drafted player, but they signed Monty to
Gibbs,
a Monty to a deal where he's as a starter. So how do we feel about, hey, you drafted one in the top 12, but we just signed Monty to this monster contract?
Look, Gibbs is going to run for how many yards? 800, 900? I mean, there's so much room for Monty. I wouldn't even worry about it. Monty keeps him healthy. And long-term, I don't think he's a long-term option for him or anything. So he's, Monty's good. Monty is good for Gibbs. Gibbs needs to stay healthy.
Okay. I just want to thank everyone for their prayers and thoughts, and that's all I got.
Yeah. Hey, Bruce, appreciate you. And on that note, I don't know if you've seen the Chris Olave animation, but here's Chris Olave. I'm gonna play this. I don't know if you're watching, but here you go. This is the new Olave.
A top 5 wide receiver hides among the people. His cost of entry is near illegal. Few see him coming. Many stay away. His name is Chris Olave.
Chris Olave. Do it live. Appreciate you all. I will see you all tonight. Tonight, Panic Chamber, midnight. I'll see you all, Panic Chamber, midnight tonight. We're live Monday through Friday. That's what this show is right here. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm live whenever news breaks. I'm also live Thursday, Friday, Saturday for draft marathons every Thursday, Friday, Saturday from this week through the beginning of the year. And Tuesday night at midnight, Panic Chamber episodes. That is tonight. Daily uploads. See you all later. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the super chats. Thank you all for helping keep the lights on. You guys absolutely rock. Thank you, Collusion. Appreciate you, man. Grant, appreciate you. Max, thoughts on Paris Campbell? Max, I'm sorry, bro. Let me see if there's any other super chats that I missed. Commish changing to 2-man keeper. What's this mean? Young, appreciate you asking that live on the phone line. Kevin says, real talk. We already got to that one. Charbonnet. I think I'm caught up on everybody's but Max's. Max, are you still here, buddy? I'm sorry about making you wait. Eric, Calvin could get 1,400 yards. I got that one earlier. I think I'm caught up. I think it's just Max. Max, I want to make sure you're still here. Take care of Maxie boy. Thoughts on Paris Campbell? He had 600-plus yards on the Colts' trash offense last year. I mean, I don't hate him, but I would say he's like the last wide receiver you would draft on your team in the final round, and you're taking a stab at any of those guys. So if you have a gut feeling on Paris Campbell, trust your gut. I don't particularly have a gut feeling on him, so I'm going to say no. Thank you, Max. Sorry about the delay on answering this question, pal. Appreciate you. You're the man. But trust your gut. My instinct doesn't say stay away. My instinct just doesn't say go get him. So that doesn't, I have no negative feelings about him. So if you have a gut feeling on Paris, go grab him. This is a place where I grab a Tank Dell, the Houston Texans rookie wide receiver. You have to look him up under Nathaniel Dell because Tank's his nickname. But Nathaniel Dell is a guy I would rather take then go Campbell if you're presented with that opportunity. And I can almost guarantee you in a grandma league, no one's going to be drafting Tank Dell. You could get him in your last round. Whereas if you're drafting on best ball with a bunch of sharks, they're going to know what's going on. Appreciate you all. I made some trades and have the 2-11-19 hoping I can get Chase, Wilson, Olave. That would be sick, Silver. And then you get those running backs that we just deployed and grabbed. Boy, that would be a killer start. Chase, Wilson, Olave, then grab all these running back combinations. See you all tonight. Panic Chamber.